Headlines on RT. Police in Oakland in California reportedly used tear gas against anti-Trump protesters as fires are started on the city streets. This comes during a wave of demonstrations across America as many refuse to accept the election of Donald Trump as the country's next president. And many senior politicians change their tune on Trump, prepared to work with him despite heavily criticising him prior to the election. Plus, polls do suggest Bernie Sanders could have done much better in the presidential election than Hillary Clinton in key states. Hello, welcome. It's just gone midday here in Moscow. You're watching RT International. Now, in the wake of the election, Trump supporters have been, of course, out celebrating. However, people have also turned out on the streets to protest. In Oakland, in California, anti-Trump activists have clashed with police. Videos posted on social media do appear to show tear gas being used against demonstrators, and there are reports they set dustbins on fire and threw fireworks too. Others have blocked major highways in the city. In other incidents, the police car was vandalised and windows were smashed at the Oakland Chamber of Commerce before the building was set on fire. Police are currently trying to calm things down and, of course, will keep you posted. It doesn't stop there, though. People are voicing their anger at Trump's impending presidency coast to coast. Seattle, Chicago, New York and Boston are among the dozens of cities where demonstrations are taking place. They've mostly been peaceful, with only a few arrests.
Racist, sexist, anti-gay, Donald Trump, go away!
Well, Trump was declared the winner when he passed the number of electoral votes needed to win, even though Hillary Clinton did manage to win the popular vote by a small margin. However, Clinton was very popular in Washington, D.C., as we'll look at the figures here. In fact, over 90% of people there voted for her, and that compares to a paltry 4% for Donald Trump. However, that is in stark contrast to what happened in the rest of the country. Experts say it does show that people are turning against establishment politics.
Across the nation, Americans as a whole saw the choice between an unknown, the devil you don't know and the devil you know, perhaps. And unusually, they chose the devil they don't know. They had a choice, perhaps, between the grossness of the personality of Donald Trump, but versus the grossness of their political establishment. And they decided that the political establishment was more gross than Donald Trump. I think a lot of people that voted Trump are aware that they're taking a risk, but they would rather take that risk than carry on with politics as usual.
So this will be a fantastic test to see whether the Constitution actually works, whether you can take a successful guy, reasonably intelligent guy with good intentions. He wants to take time off from the private sector, be president for 4 or 8 years, and go back to the private sector. It should work. That's the way it's designed. Let's see if it works. Hillary Clinton was just going to be a continuation of a dictatorial interpretation of the presidency, where presidents were signing off on executive orders and bypassing the Constitution, and that's completely anathema to what we as Americans would expect our president to do.
Well, at the start of the election campaign, few took Trump seriously, starting with President Obama. However, he changed his tone and choice of words too, following the unexpected victory.
This guy is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief.
Donald Trump is uniquely unqualified to hold this job.
Come on. This guy? I mean, it's strange how, over time, what is crazy gets normalized.
We all want what's best for this country. That's what I heard when I spoke to him, and I was heartened by that. That's what the country needs.
Well, just like Obama there, many European politicians are now having to change their stance too after heavily criticising Trump not so long ago. With more on that, here's Polly Boyko.
Can it get any more awkward than this?
Thank you.
Around the world, the politicians, journalists and diplomats who branded Donald Trump racist and right-wing are having to backpedal. British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson is one of them. Back when he was mayor of London, he said there were parts of New York he'd be afraid to go to for fear of bumping into Donald Trump. Now he's Britain's top diplomat, Johnson says he's very much looking forward to working with him. Over in the Republic of Ireland, it's the defence minister who's on the defensive. Before Trump became the Republican nominee, Enda Kelly branded Trump racist and dangerous. But now he's heading for the White House.
I listened very carefully to the President-elect this morning. Very happy that the government will work with the new administration when appointed by the President-elect.
The bigwigs in Brussels are also shifting into reverse gear. Days before voters cast their ballots, European Council President Donald Tusk tweeted this.
My wife's latest comment, one Donald is more than enough.
By Wednesday, though, the olive branches were out, or at least invitations for Trump to come to an EU-US summit as soon as possible. NATO's former Secretary-General, too, changed his tune once the results were in.
We don't know what will be the concrete policies of a Trump administration. I think they could be very dangerous for the world. I congratulate Donald Trump on the election victory. His administration must display global leadership and defend friends and allies.
Sorry is a hard word in diplomatic circles. These days, the 21st century solution is to just wipe your social media timeline. One of the first to congratulate Trump on his win was British Prime Minister Theresa May, perhaps to make amends for her predecessor labelling Trump stupid, divisive and wrong over comments about stopping Muslims entering the US. Despite Theresa May's diplomacy, it's all going to be a bit awkward when President Trump finally makes it across the pond. Britain is, after all, the country where so many citizens signed a petition trying to ban Trump from entering that Parliament was forced to debate the issue. And politicians of all creeds lined up to condemn the now president-elect. Expect more backpedaling between now and Trump's inauguration, by which time the collective establishment amnesia should be complete. Polly Boyko, RT, London.
Some European politicians, however, have continued to express their concerns. The German Vice-Chancellor, for example, called Trump a harbinger of a new authoritarian and chauvinistic international movement. And here are some other reactions.
America has made its choice. The result differs from what most people in Germany would have wanted. I think we have to prepare for the fact that American foreign policy will be less predictable in the future.
This American election marks the beginning of a period of uncertainty that I will face with lucidity. Certain positions taken by Donald Trump during the American campaign must be challenged.
We are at the same time aware of the new challenges that these results bring. One of them is in this moment of uncertainty over the future of our transatlantic relations.
I take their uncertainty and their complaints, and in some cases their whining, as a compliment, because what Mr. Trump is saying is that the era of freeloaderism is over, and that we're going to look out for American interests first. And I don't think it's just in the crude terms of are they paying their way in NATO. If you guys, you European countries, are so concerned about this Russian threat, why aren't you spending your own money? I think it's a left-handed way of saying that threat really is not there. What is this all about?
Well, anti-Trump protesters do appear to have remained more consistent in their positions than some of the politicians. Some of the slogans they have been chanting were also heard at anti-Trump rallies carried out by supporters of former Democratic hopeful Bernie Sanders. Meanwhile, polls do suggest that Bernie Sanders could have done much better than Hillary Clinton against Trump in some of the states that were crucial to the outcome of the election. Caleb Moppin has been gauging opinion in New York.
Donald Trump's staggering victory has done a lot more than simply fire up his supporters. A lot of demoralized Democrats and liberals are now taking a long, hard look at themselves. We decided to take this opportunity to ask people supporting Team Clinton whether or not their ballot box drubbing can really be blamed entirely on the power of the Donald. So let me ask you, would the Democrats have done better with Bernie Sanders?
I would have to say that Bernie Sanders, I liked his idea, but he didn't have the cojones.
Do you feel like the Democrats are out of touch?
The elite Democrat ruling class, yes.
Would the Democrats have been better off with Sanders than Clinton?
Yes, because a lot of Democrats, honestly, Sanders didn't really make it because of the whole idea of the financial aid and certain things that he didn't take aspect.
What is the Democratic Party's problem? Why did they lose so royally?
I think they lost royally because they got too cocky and confident. They underestimated Trump and they underestimated the electorate, that people were very angry.
The Democrats nominated somebody who was more likely to lose than somebody who was more likely to win. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Honestly, I feel that it was kind of rigged, if you ask me. I feel that whole election is rigged.
You think like the Democrats would have been better off if they had nominated Bernie Sanders rather than nominating Clinton?
I mean, probably if Bernie Sanders had enough support to win the primaries.
Yes, the Democrats plopped for Hillary Clinton, a very well-known name who's closely tied into the political establishment. Voters made clear they wanted to upset that apple cart. Now, with Donald Trump set to move into the White House, people are wondering if the Democrats will take this opportunity to get their own house in order. Caleb Moppin, RT, New York.
Well, Sanders supporters have used hashtags on social media such as Bring Bernie Back and also Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Bernie, and they do believe that he may have beaten Trump to the White House. With RT, we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll continue with more reaction to Donald Trump's victory.